Hi everyone, it's Pete here. Now I've finally got round to building my Konghead kit to replace the one that got lost in the fire last year, so hooray for that. And doesn't it look nice? Now I am planning to do a review on this and look at some of the changes I've made to the standard spec, but in this video I'm just going to concentrate on a change that I've done to the bumper here. So Tamiya fans will probably recognise that as the bumper from a lunchbox or a Midnight Pumpkin, and I will just explain why I've done it. Now this is the standard bumper you get with the kit, so it's got screws that go through the front of the bumper there and attaches it through the spring to that plate there. And what I found on the previous one was I broke this, I think, on the first time it went out. I mean, I think I just about managed to get the video done. I had to mend it halfway through, and the weak point of it are these sort of lugs that the springs go onto. So the screw goes in there, and what I found was, I think the first time the screw just came out of there, and so I glued the screw in, and I thought, well, that won't come out, and then that actually broke off. And interestingly, exactly the same thing happened on my GFO1 that has got the same parts as this. I'd be surprised if nobody else has ever had this problem. I mean, I wasn't doing anything ridiculously stupid. It was sort of nose diving into the ground a bit, but it wasn't anything stupid. So anyway, I found that I can fix the lunchbox bumper on, and this was on the previous one up until the point of the fire, and no problem with that. It's nice and springy. That's sort of almost indestructible. So to explain how I've attached it, I need to hand over to me. I think it was last Friday when I was enjoying a pint of IPA, and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so what you need is one of these C19 parts. There are spare ones. This was designed for the back of the truck there, but what I'm going to do is to use this to attach the lunchbox bumper to the bottom of that, and then attach that to the front of the truck there. Now if you look at the underside of this C19 part, you notice there's some ribs there, and I want to attach the lunchbox bumper to it so it's flush to this. So what you need to do is cut away parts of these ribs and make it so the bumper sort of comes up level with that there. So in Blue Peter style, I've got one that I prepared earlier. So you see with this one, I've just cut away part of the ribbing there, so this now fits on there like that. You might also notice I've drilled some holes in that there. Now the two outer ones match up with the outer holes of the lunchbox bumper. The middle one, I've had to put a new hole there because the bumper normally attaches there, which is too far forward for this piece. So I've cut away a bit of that ribbing on the bumper there and put a hole through there. So that's how that is going to attach onto the C19 part. And you'll also notice probably that I've shortened it down. I'll show you the complete one there. So I've just trimmed the ends off to match the sides of the bumper there. It's very soft plastic, and you can just do that with a normal model knife. So you could use some self-tapping screws just to tap into that, but I think this plastic's too soft and I think that would come off. So what I want to do is use some sort of M3 machine screws and put a nut on the top just to make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, so these are just some M3 screws that I found in my parts box. They're a little bit too long. I think these are about 18 long. I think 15 would be a better size. And also I could probably do some nylock nuts. I only found these sort of standard 3mm nuts, but I'll just use those for now. Another thing, this is very squashy plastic, and I think it would be good to get something in the gap there just to stop that, as you do the nut up, stop that squashing together. So what I've found is just a spare bit of kit, so to make a little washer out of, which I'm going to put in between there, sort of thread the screw through it just to stop that squashing. I mean, you can put some filler in there. It'll probably be alright just to just to do it up and let that squash. But yeah, I'm just going to put that in there just to sort of fill the space up a little bit. I don't know if you can see there, but put the little plastic spacers in there and there. I haven't put one in the middle. I think that bit's okay. You can see the screws are a bit too long. I think maybe like 13 length might be alright, but just see what spare parts you got. And basically that just attaches on the front there with the standard screws from the kit. It's probably easier to probably put that bit on the front and then attach the bumper to that. But there is an issue now with using this rather than the standard kit part, so I'll just show you. So with the standard kit bumper you have this part which is F3, which attaches on the front there, and then you have part F4 which goes there, and that has the job of holding on this U-shaped shaft here, which is holding the suspension arms on. So with this modified bit here, it's not actually holding that piece in, so you have to either devise a way of holding that in and attaching something else to the bottom of this sort of modified bumper, or there's a couple of other things you can do. First thing you can do is not use this, and if you've got some spare ones of these screw pins that are used sort of on the back of the kit, you can use that instead, and that's what I did on the previous Konghead, and that worked fine. But a thought occurred to me that the U-shaped shaft there is actually doing the job of holding the two arms onto the kit, and I'm thinking if they took a wallop, if you drove it in something, that's putting a lot of strain on this little side of the chassis there, and you don't want to break that. So I've got another thing which I'll just show you. Now I found this Tamiya hop-up kit here, which takes the place of this. So it's got this bridge bit across the front, and the stainless steel suspension shafts there, and it's held in with C-clips, so you don't have to worry about holding it in like this one. So hopefully that would be a good solution. So I'll just fit that and see if it fits. Right, so just done a bit of off-camera tinkering. What I found is if you put the aluminium support bridge in the way that they show, with the bar at the top, it does catch on these ribs on the bottom of this part here. Now you can either cut out some more of the ribs there. What I've done is I'm just put it in the other way up, so that the bar part is at the bottom there. Can't see a problem with that, and that will now fit perfectly on there. Okay, so that's the bumper attached there. One thing I found, I was saying earlier, it's better to attach the C19 piece first and then attach the bumper to it, and actually do this piece after as well, because now you haven't really got access to these screws underneath. But yeah, that all looks good, so I'll hand back to me in the future with the lovely finished kit. Oh, I did enjoy that pint. So since then, I've just got these nylock nuts. I've still got these screws that are a little bit too long. Say I think about 16 length thread would be ideal for this. But yeah, basically that is that. Now, like I was saying, I'm going to do a video to review this and say about some of the other little changes that I've made to this one, and hopefully get a speed test in there as well. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.